Okay, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It is the Thanksgiving week edition of the Bob Ryan, Jeff Goodman and Tanguay along for the Ride podcast. Coming up with the show, Klay Thompson is 41. Simmons back with the Nets. Celtics and Bucks, who you taking at full strength. Bob has a bit of an issue with the Celtics we'll talk about. And the Sacramento Kings. Bob Ryan's picked to click. Let's start with the Celtics right now. I mean, they had a stinker against Chicago. They'd won 9 in a row. It happens. But off the top, Jeff Goodman, we're going to start with Bob. Bob has a little heart palpitation when it comes to right now the best team in the NBA.
Well, I do because, and me and the three, and I'm going to have to I'm going to ask you, must I resign myself to a reality that this is a live by the three, die by the three team, and that's it? Because it's wonderful. They had this wonderful night in New Orleans, and then then last night they had a stinky night in Chicago, and they're just firing away, and that's what they do. And I mean, is that it? Tell me.
They're shooting 38% from three as a team, Bob. So right now, I'll live with those numbers. Right, 38% from three is pretty good. Last I checked, as a team, that's ridiculous. So I would say, as of now, I'm okay with that. I still think they've got guys that can take it to the basket. We've seen it much better with Jason Tatum this year than ever. Jaylen Brown can do it, especially in transition. So I don't think they're completely live by the three, die by the three. But if you're not shooting threes these days, Bob, you're probably not playing in the NBA.
And I'll add to the list guys that can take it to the hoop: Brogdon and White. And
you got to be able to shoot the three these days.
I know,
but look at Utah right now, and I'm not Utah. Look at Rudy Gobert right now in Minnesota. Okay, like they're struggling because again, you've got a big guy who can't score. He can't step out and shoot the three, and you're so limited. There's a reason Jahlil Okafor. Last I checked, I don't even know if he's in the league anymore.
Oh, he's gone. I think he's gone.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to be able to, but I'm not saying you have to exclusively do it. Even Al Horford, right, in that game, and I know you're frustrated probably watching Al. He was 0 for 7 from 3 in that game against the Bulls. And I get it. Like, if I was the coach at some point, Missoula, you would say, like, to Al, all right, like, this isn't your night. And Al should be old enough to understand this probably isn't my night. Maybe I'll go in and shoot it from 15 to 18. But Al's probably also thinking, you know what? If I make 2 of those 7, that's better than what I'm going to probably do around the hoop.
Does it change when Tom Lord comes back?
Well, he can't shoot the 3. So.
Well, no. I understand that, but he does have a presence in the interior.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you a lob threat. That's what Robert Williams gives you, a lob threat that you don't have right now.
Plus, he's a big Jeff that runs.
He can, no doubt. Listen, he changes what they can do, primarily in the defensive end. He'll give you kind of that guy who can the bailout really on the offensive end, right? You're driving to the hoop. He's kind of the bailout guy.
Yeah,
you can just throw it up to and let him.
And he's really, really, really good at it too. So that,
Bob, I will say this to calm your nerves: 'tis the holiday season, okay? So you can enjoy yourself.
All right. Well,
a year ago, and we all know how the Celtic team has changed in a year. We all know that. The way this team is constituted now, and the way that they survived the coaching change and the coaching travesty and the controversy. I don't think they're going to be 3 dependent. I think if the 3's not working, they'll go to the hoop. I think it was Chicago. I think it was a Monday night. I think it was like start the bus, start the plane. So I want to believe that they're mature enough not to live and die by it, especially since they have the ability to get to the basket. Well, I want to believe that.
It's just, of course, what we have never, what isn't even discussed because it's not even, is posting up, nobody can do.
Who are you going to post up?
Al can post up.
He can. He just doesn't anymore.
No, I know. He passed up he pulled what I call a Williams last night. He passed up a layup last night to give up another clanky 3. All right. Anyway, all right. I don't want to overdo this. I'm sorry. So
No, that's fine. But that's to wrap up. That's kind of
meanwhile,
that's the way I'm looking at.
I know.
I'm
pleased with several other aspects of the team, and allow a clunker in Chicago, and then that's fine. That's going to happen. So I don't mind.
Okay, so I'm stealing this on NBA.com. I thought it was a terrific question. At full strength, Jeff Goodman, I'll start with you. Are you taking the Bucks or the Celtics?
Oh boy, at full strength. I might take the Celtics.
I know it's different, isn't it, Jeff? It is a coin flip.
Well, you look at the matchups almost, and you're like, all right, you know what? Like the Bucks have Giannis. I get it. Tatum's not that far off from Giannis now. I think we can all agree on that. Like, 2 years ago when you said that question, and I was the biggest supporter, as Bob knows, of the Jason Tatum fan club. I probably started the Jason Tatum fan club, other than his mother, Brandy. But ultimately, the gap has closed there. And as I've said, listen, Jason Tatum to me is still the most complete player in the NBA. Not the best yet, but the most complete with the fewest weaknesses, because what he can do that Giannis can't, he can shoot the hell out of it. He can score mid-range. He can score around the bucket, not with the same veracity that Giannis can. He can rebound. He can defend. He can pass, all of it. So I think that was your biggest, to me, him and Middleton were against Tatum and Jalen was a gap 2 years ago.
Right.
Now that gap has closed, where honestly you can make a case that Middleton and Jaylen Brown is a wash and maybe even an advantage for the Celtics now, which is kind of crazy.
Well, I said all along between the end of last season and the beginning of this, that very good lucky for the Celtics. They didn't have to play the Bucks with Middleton, and it could have been different. But the one reason, and I agree with everything you're saying, and throw in the fact that the Celtics now have Brogdon. And and that's a very important addition to this team, in my opinion, and makes them a better team. So it's an interesting question, but I still have a healthy respect for Milwaukee, and I continue to be fascinated by the career transformation of Brook Lopez, who what a reliable 3-point shooter he has become, and if you just examine his career arc, it is such a commentary on the times. That the need for a big guy to reinvent himself, and he has probably done it better than anyone ever. What he's done.
I mean, he's been good defensively.
Yeah, plus he's a major force on defense, which
that's the thing. I remember seeing Brook back at Stan. Well, even before that, how about that? He played an AAU team called, I think it was EBO or something, with his brother years ago, with Quincy Pondexter on that team too, and. I mean, Brook has completely transformed every part of his game.
I mean, the numbers are, I don't have them in front of me, but I've looked it up in the past, and I welcome anybody listening to do it just to amuse themselves. As the way he came into the league as a standard old-fashioned Al McGuire aircraft carrier center, who never took a three until becoming what he is, which is a major threat. That's just, it's I'll give him full credit. He's moved with the times as well as any big guy you can think of. Now, I want to say one other guy I want to put in the conversation, backing up a little bit there, Mr. Goodman, a guy who, at his best, and we saw it once again as a reminder within the last week, might fulfill all the requirements that you just gave for Mr. Tatum at that size, and that is Anthony Davis, who had a tremendous game the other night. Yeah. We haven't seen too many of those lately, but was a little reminder of what he has been and could be.
We've forgotten about him because he's always hurt. Always hurt. So you've forgotten about AD, and largely because he's been hurt, the Lakers haven't been good. Yeah. So it's almost like, again, you want to talk about the Lakers, but you really can't because they're not relevant right now in the hierarchy of the NBA and teams that actually have a chance to do anything.
The next time we'll talk about the Lakers is when season 2 of Winning Time comes out. They're in production now, and Bob Ryan can't wait. Bob! To wrap up this Celtic topic, I just want to say this, is I think The bench is better for the Celtics, and I think right now that's the tiebreaker. I'll go with that. Okay, the game was pretty good the other night from Mr. Simmons. We'll talk to Bob. The reacclimation of Ben Simmons to the NBA, your thoughts?
Well, my thought is, he's not my favorite player. I wouldn't want him on my team. But when he does such a thing as he did the other night, which was 22 points, 11 for 13, taking his shots, which are, his range is 3 feet, 8 rebounds and 5 assists. And I'm sure that the overall effect was positive. That's what they are paying for. And they haven't gotten the benefit of that very much. If he's going to play games like that often, they're going to be formidable, and I've read some of the commentary and how he gets the ball up the floor. Guys who win the rings, they're happy. And, it benefited a great deal from him is Yuta Watanabe, who, when you weren't looking, gentlemen, has emerged as risen to number 1 in the league in 3-point percentage at 57%. There's a guy you forget. He had 20, and he had a 20-point game the night before. I mean, is he going to be a factor all of a sudden after, 4 years in the league? I don't know.
Listen, Bob, if you put you next to Ben Simmons, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Joe Harris, you could be a factor.
Oh, well, hey, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. But anyway, he's the best. He is the best player to come out of Japan, although Hachimura is probably going to give him a race for the title. Anyway, the Ben Simmons thing is the nature of his game. And interesting, he's going back to Philadelphia as we speak to see what, and he's joking about the reception he's going to get, etc. I've just continued to repeat. I guess I'll be saying this every time we meet. He's the most unusual player of consequence in the history of the league. His strengths and weaknesses are so extreme, and the nature of his game is so specific, unlike anyone at the size. And by the way, in this game in question the other night, they officially or unofficially, whatever, listed him as their 5-man, by the way. And, he is so, he's huge. He's a big guy. People, it's an unusual player. I don't want to come down too hard on his foibles personally. If it has to do with mental health, then that's a very dicey topic. And we wish him the best in that regard.
Well, it's a positionless league. Positional less.
More or less. Thank you.
Yeah, he can rebound. Listen, he can rebound. He can go with it. There are a few guys his size with the ball in their hands that are as quick as Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
So if there is a duo or a trio that Ben Simmons fits with, it is Kevin Durant, it is Kyrie Irving, it is Joe Harris. And then you got, Curry, Seth coming off the bench. So, it should work. And listen, the bottom line is they haven't had Kyrie. They really haven't had Ben. And they're still in the playing game.
Yeah.
So,
No, they're going to be bear watching. They're
going to be in there. And I actually think it's good for the league if they're not in the playing game necessarily. If they win a series, obviously they match up against the Celtics last year.
I mean, Jeff, it's inarguable. No one will ever dispute that if those guys are playing basketball together, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And in reality, look, if you mention the Nets and everybody's on board, everybody's playing, right? There's no controversy.
Yeah.
It should be the Nets, the Celtics, and the Bucks. I mean,
you look at it right now. The Pacers are the 4th seed right now at 10-6.
Forget it.
The Nets they're gonna catch the Pacers. So the Wizards are the 5th seed. So there's no reason that the Nets shouldn't get in that 4, 5, 6 range and get out of the playing game. The biggest thing for me is always Kyrie. As much as he helps you on the offensive end, he's such a liability on the defensive end. That's where Ben Simmons has to get back to what he was consistently, an elite defender. Kevin Durant can be a pretty damn good defender, even at his age at this point. But you can't have Joe Harris, Kyrie, and if Ben Simmons isn't back to what he was or close to it defensively, they're a team that we saw it last year without Ben in the playoffs. They were so bad defensively.
Well, they have enough offense; they should be able to make up for it. There's no doubt about that. The shake your head thing is the Warriors, though. I suppose if you're a Warrior fan, Bob, you want to be optimistic that Klay had 41 because Klay seems to be the question mark on that team if all cylinders are firing.
I call what happened the other night his Mark Twain moment. because apparently reports of his athletic death were exaggerated. And, he went for 41 on 10 for 13 threes.
Wow.
And then afterward, he was, he was starting his stuff, and he actually said, and I quote, referring to the criticism, which he has paid great attention to, he said, quote, "I know how great I am," unquote, by the way. So, if he's obviously, that's a heartening sign for everybody connected with the Warriors, from the ownership through the players and down to the fans, the coach and the coaching staff, that if he's capable of greatness still at times. They still have issues. And now I don't know what caused specifically the decision to sit 4 of their starting 5 to go to New Orleans to lose by 43. But that was the next game after that. But anyway.
On the bench has been, remember how many people were raving about the Warriors bench?
Me among them.
They're young. They're going to be the next group. Jonathan Kuminga is going to take this team back. They're not going to lose anything. Like, what were we doing? Jordan Poole was the guy that we were basing this on, a lot of it. And he has kind of come down to earth a little bit. But Kuminga has really, he hadn't done anything to deserve that. He had done nothing. Moses Moody, good, solid player. But come on, Wiseman has been disappointing and oft injured so far in his career. So let's be done with that part of it. And really, Golden State needs to get healthy, number one, and to find some sort of rotation here beyond their starting 5, because their starting 5 is still, you put those 5 guys out there for a series and they're all healthy. Yeah. I don't know how many people are betting against them.
Yep. Well, but they got work to do in that conference. That's for sure. And but it's a nice starting point to think that Thompson is obviously he's not done. That's for sure. He struggled. Remember, he missed 2 full seasons. Yeah. And he's older. I suspect that's going to be the milestone game for the season. If he's going to exceed that, look out. But it certainly was a moment to commemorate. That's for sure.
Well, the Warriors are coming in the 11th spot as we speak at 8-10. Yep. And Bob's new team, the Kings, at 9-6
with 6 straight wins as we speak.
Amazing.
And De'Aaron Fox, who's having a quiet career in anonymity, isn't he, Jeff?
Yep.
A quiet good. You know what he's done? This is really, it's interesting. De'Aaron Fox is stuck out there. Nobody pays attention to this team. In the last 4 years, he has averaged, in this order, 21, 25, 23, and currently 25. He's obviously, and he's, by acclamation, as fast as, if not the fastest player of anybody in the league. Yeah. And, so he's a nice little gem out there that not many people really realize the career he's having. But this team, guys, years ago, some national magazine, whether it was Esquire or GQ, one of them, I think, actually had a story about them and their anonymity. They were the most forgotten entity in the league. Then they had the run. They had a run in the beginning of the 21st century. They had a 5-year run, guys, of 55, 61, 59, 55, and 50, and included, of course, that memorable, controversial, never to be forgotten, always to be discussed, losing 7th game to the Lakers when people think the fix was in. And, the refereeing was abominable. And they lost in that fourth quarter, and a disgraceful fourth quarter that really was a suspicious fourth quarter, I'll be honest.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Kings in the NBA Finals or the Lakers, I don't know.
And now, since that window closed, by the way, gentlemen, and it didn't just close, it was nailed shut, completely nailed shut after the 2004-05 season. Their last 05-06, which was their last winning year. Since then, 16 straight losing seasons and 12 coaches.
Wow.
This is how bad they've been. Imagine being a fan. Imagine trying to Jimmy, try to interest yourself in the NBA in Sacramento.
Well, especially when you get if you're in Sacramento, you get the Lakers to the south and the Clippers, and you get the Warriors to the north.
Warriors, and you really got the Warriors, especially in the last few years. They're your territorial, neighbor, if you will. And, it's like 100 miles east, I think they are, something like that. And anyway, this is how bad. They have been historically bad. And we knew that the Clippers had a longer run. They still got on as number one as the longest stretch of abomination. But I would nominate the Sacramento Kings now as the most disgraceful franchise in all of North American sport in the last 15 years. However, there's a little sign of life now, isn't there?
A lot of sign. Listen, they made two great trades to me recently. One was getting your boy Sabonis.
Yes.
For Tyrese Haliburton, who's a really good player. Haliburton's a nice player. But Sabonis is a double-double every night who can also pass it. He's not shooting it great. So that's one. They got Sabonis. Number two, they got Kevin Huerter, who can space the floor. And he's shooting like 50% from three this year. So they're giving Huerter minutes where in Atlanta, he was going to be buried a little bit, had a big contract. So they got him as well. So Huerter, Sabonis, obviously De'Aaron Fox. The big difference with him this year, he's been a non-shooter in his career. And now he's shooting 38% from three. He's gotten better. Now he can keep the defensive honest. And I think part of it also is, again, you've got a big who's an elite passing big, right? Sabonis is a guy you throw it into. You want to double him, he's going to find the open man. So I just, to me, I think the pieces fit really well. Harrison Barnes can be what he is. And, oh, by the way, Keegan Murray, who's been hurt a little bit here early, he's been a really, really good addition too. So, I love this team. I've said it kind of going into the year. I like their talent, but their talent has never paid off for them. Like never. It doesn't matter who they've had. I feel like now they've got a chance with an elite level point guard who can shoot a little bit. Other guys that kind of figure in, and they got some good guys even coming off the bench.
And to say that they've had coaching and stability is an understatement of the century. And I don't know what you think about Mike Brown, but
love him. Oh,
he has had his yes. Okay, well they got Mike Brown now, so maybe that's going to be the.
Why do you like Mike Brown, Jeff? Because I know that obviously he had the stigma of just basically being LeBron's assistant,
which he kind of was probably years ago, but he's been on the bench with Steve Kerr for years. And I think he's really good with people and personalities. And this is a team that I think you need in a day and age in the NBA where that ultimately is more important than drawing up plays.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
How do you keep the egos in check? How do you keep these guys engaged every night? How do you figure out again, how to manage all of it. And I think people say like in today's game, I go back to Red. Red and Russell. Russ, you want to play today? You want to practice today? No, fine. It's all about handling people.
It's so much the story. It's never changed. And you're right. You're 100% correct. The X's and O's are you need to know something, but
secondary.
It is about the people thing. They are leading the league in scoring, by the way, when people weren't looking at 121 points a game. So anyway, it's just if there is such a thing as a diehard Sacramento fan, I'm happy for him or her right now that they've got something to sink.
They're out there, Bob. They're out there. I promise you.
Okay, good. Well, that's good.
All right, so, gentlemen.
I don't know if this is a little mirage. We were talking about a team. They won 6 in a row. They're only 9. They're 9-6. I'm not talking about that, but there's a pulse. And
here's what I'll say too: you're not going to find 3 better dudes than De'Aaron Fox, Domas Sabonis, and Kevin Huerter. Their 3 best players right now are elite level people as well.
Oh, that's great to know. That's great.
Well, gentlemen, you have a happy Thanksgiving. I would like to let you guys know that while I love you both dearly, there is another podcast that I'm working on called Screen Time. Bob knows I love movies.
Oh, yes.
Check it out on Spotify. You can follow us on Twitter at Drew and Gary. And also on YouTube, as the good folks at CLNS have set up a YouTube channel for us. And Bob will love this. The 2 that I want him to check out is we do a segment on Barry Levinson.
Mm-hmm.
And we also broke down Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, the perfect Thanksgiving Day movie. And I watched it again the other day when they're driving on the highway and Candy has the cigarette and the car, it's gold. It is just gold.
Yeah, he's
sad. Laugh, rewatch it.
It's sad. He's missed.
So missed.
Yeah.
So missed.
All
guys,
right,
have a good Thanksgiving.
Okay, guys.
You too.
Every day. This episode of the Bob Ryan and Jeff Goodman podcast is brought to you by Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase.